I'm hoping to learn something from a conversation as well as whatever I might contribute to it. I'm assuming that my students, and I'm hoping my students are assuming the same thing, that I have something to give to them that they don't know. But I think just as importantly to what they get from one another is what they contribute to the conversation, what they contribute to what I know, what they contribute to one another, get out of the conversation. So what we, how we think about modes of discourse, for me anyway, is a really active and also at times quite sort of troubled and contentious thing. What I want at the very least, and it's a very modest contribution, but what I want is, I want my students to be able to think of a conversation as something they contribute to, and something they know other people will also be contributing to, and not as a zero-sum game that says everything I get at somebody else's expense. And I think scholarship at its best works that way. The main point of entrance, I think, is always what people already know. And then from there, you decide, and as a teacher, I decide how I want to interact with what I think, and in some cases what my students let me know, they already know. So, for instance, if my students think that the notion of African American literature means that they are going to know what African American life is like based on reading Invisible Man or Beloved, then my attitude towards that point of entry is going to be different, and I'm going to take issue with that because they don't feel that they know everything there is to know about being white in the United States from having read The Great Gatsby. My students have to know that I don't necessarily have some sort of resolution to provide them, to say that once we read this, and this, you are going to know all you need to know about this complex and varied group of people. And so the extent to which that point of entry becomes the start of a conversation doesn't mean we're all going to agree what that point of entrance is going to mean, right? We're going to negotiate on some level what that point of entry is going to mean over time, and that's why it's important we meet. I tell my students this all the time. This is why we convene in a place, right? We don't just sort of write to one another on email or even in sort of chat rooms, right? We all show up in the same place so that we sort of experience being around other people, some who are like ourselves and some who aren't, and they experience being around me. And so once we start, it takes time, but once we start to sort of agree that we are going to negotiate not only the conversation, but how we're going to have the conversation, what our attitude towards that conversation is going to be, then we're actually accomplishing something, then we're actually getting some work done. Ask questions. I can't say that strongly enough. The great leveler is just to ask questions.